8 Reasons Why Smart People Shrink Their Social Circle Over Time. Stoicism. The less people you chill with, the less BS you deal with. Anonymous. Have you ever wondered why some of the most insightful, intelligent people you know tend to have smaller, tighter social circles? It's not just a coincidence or a shift towards solitude, it's a calculated evolution. Over time, smart people realize that mental clarity, personal growth, and true peace often demand a more selective approach to relationships. As we mature, we begin to shed the social connections that no longer serve our growth. We move away from the superficial, negative, or envious influences that we once tolerated. Instead, we seek deeper, more meaningful relationships that enrich us mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. For those who follow Stoicism, this is a natural progression. It's about valuing quality over quantity in all areas of life, especially when it comes to who we let into our inner circle. Stick with us as we dive deep into the wisdom of refining your relationships. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. We'd love to hear how your social circle has evolved. Number 1. Envious people. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Seneca. One of the primary reasons why intelligent and self-aware individuals shrink their social circle over time is due to envious people. Envy is a silent but destructive force that can undermine even the strongest of relationships. It's often subtle, hidden behind fake smiles and insincere congratulations. When someone harbors envy toward you, their inability to be happy for your successes or achievements becomes a poison in the relationship. Instead of support, you may find yourself on the receiving end of passive-aggressive comments, backhanded compliments, or, in some cases, outright sabotage. Over time, this constant stream of negativity drains emotional energy and introduces unnecessary stress into your life. Envious people may not always be obvious at first. They often disguise themselves as friends, but their true feelings emerge when you start to succeed. They find it difficult to celebrate your growth, achievements, or even small victories because your progress triggers their insecurities. As you move forward in life, they remain stuck, comparing their journey to yours, which breeds resentment. This dynamic can stifle personal growth, making it harder for you to focus on your own path while constantly navigating the emotional minefield that envy creates. Stoicism teaches us to detach from external validation and focus on our own growth, and this applies to relationships as well. Envy is a reflection of someone else's discontent, not your worth. By recognizing this, you can make a conscious choice to protect your peace of mind. As Epictetus reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Reacting to envy by reducing your interactions with those who cannot genuinely celebrate your success is a way to safeguard your mental clarity. It's not about cutting people off unnecessarily. It's about recognizing when certain relationships no longer serve your well-being. The energy you spend managing someone's envy could be better spent nurturing relationships that offer mutual support and growth. Envy has the power to infect every aspect of your life if left unchecked. The tension of keeping such relationships alive can distract you from your goals and drain you emotionally. Intelligent people understand that the quality of their relationships significantly impacts their well-being, which is why they choose to surround themselves with people who encourage, uplift, and challenge them to grow. By distancing themselves from envious people, they create room for positive, supportive connections that foster personal and professional growth. In a world where success often brings unwanted attention, it becomes critical to curate a social circle that aligns with your values and supports your progress. The Stoic mindset encourages us to focus on what we can control, our reactions, our decisions, and ultimately our relationships. By removing envious individuals from your life, you are taking control of your emotional environment. You are choosing to protect your inner peace, a decision that reflects wisdom and self-respect. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And living fully means surrounding yourself with those who lift you higher, not those who secretly hope to see you fall. So, while it may be difficult to say goodbye to some relationships, especially those that have existed for years, the wise understand that personal growth often requires making tough decisions. As you continue to evolve, your circle should evolve with you, filled with individuals who genuinely wish to see you succeed, without hidden agendas or resentment. By letting go of envious people, you are not just protecting yourself from their negative energy. You are creating space for relationships that reflect the person you are becoming. Number 2. Negative individuals. People are not disturbed by things but by the view they take of them. Epictetus. One of the main reasons why smart people reduce their social circle over time is the presence of negative individuals. Negative people are like emotional black holes. They drain your energy, pull you down, and leave little room for growth or positivity. It may not be immediately apparent, but over time, their constant pessimism and complaints become a weight that hinders progress. When you're working hard on your goals, trying to maintain a positive outlook, and striving to improve, the last thing you need is someone who consistently focuses on what's wrong with the world. Their negativity is like a dark cloud that follows you around, influencing your mood and perspective on life. Smart individuals quickly recognize that if they want to protect their mental well-being and keep moving forward, they need to distance themselves from those who only see the downside in every situation. Negative people, often without realizing it, can limit your potential. Their constant griping about life, their cynicism toward your dreams, and their refusal to embrace change can act as invisible shackles. Think about a situation where you've shared an exciting new project with someone, only to be met with comments like, "That's not going to work," or "I don't see the point." Those words can plant seeds of doubt, causing you to question your ability or the worth of what you're working toward. Over time, being around these individuals can make you second-guess your decisions, stifle your creativity, and dampen your enthusiasm for life. When you surround yourself with people who constantly focus on problems rather than solutions, you start to adopt that mindset too. Have you ever noticed how you feel after spending time with someone who complains a lot? You leave the conversation feeling drained, frustrated, and sometimes even worse than before. This is because negative energy is contagious, and allowing yourself to stay in such an environment affects your mental state. Let me share a story that illustrates this perfectly. A friend of mine, a highly ambitious entrepreneur, was surrounded by a group of people who were perpetually stuck in their comfort zones. Every time he discussed his ideas for new business ventures, they would shoot them down with excuses like, "The market's too tough," or "Why take the risk when you're doing okay right now?" At first he brushed off these comments, but over time, he found himself hesitating to pursue opportunities he was once passionate about. Their negativity became a subtle influence that made him doubt his own capabilities. It wasn't until he started to pull back from this group and seek out like-minded, positive individuals that he regained his confidence and drive. It was a reminder that the people you keep close can either push you forward or hold you back. How many times have you found yourself stuck in a rut because someone in your life couldn't see beyond their own limitations? It makes you wonder, who in your life is helping you grow, and who is standing in your way? This is why the most insightful people make the conscious decision to shrink their social circle. It's not about being antisocial or cutting people off without reason. It's about protecting their peace and making room for relationships that nurture growth. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control, and one of the most important things we can control is our environment, including the people we allow into our lives. As Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, it's impossible to maintain a positive, forward-thinking mindset. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut people off, but it's crucial to set boundaries and limit the influence that negative individuals have on your life. As you think about your own social circle, ask yourself, are the people around you contributing to your growth, or are they holding you back? Do they inspire you to be your best self? or do they keep you stuck in old patterns of doubt and fear? These are important questions because the answers will determine the trajectory of your personal and professional life. The lesson here is clear. Be mindful of the energy you allow into your space. Surround yourself with people who uplift, challenge, and support you, and don't be afraid to distance yourself from those who bring you down. In doing so, you'll not only protect your mental health but also create the space for positive, growth-oriented relationships to flourish. In modern life, where we're constantly bombarded by the opinions and emotions of others through social media, work, and even casual interactions, it's more important than ever to be selective about the people we let into our inner circle. If someone's energy feels heavy, if they constantly drain your emotional reserves, or if they make you question your worth, it's okay to limit your exposure to them. It's not selfish. It's self-care. And as Epictetus reminds us, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Don't allow negative people to create unnecessary suffering in your life. Choose your company wisely, and you'll find that your path to success and happiness becomes much clearer. By making the deliberate choice to reduce interactions with negative people, you empower yourself to focus on the things that truly matter: your goals, your well-being, and your peace of mind. You become more intentional about where you invest your energy, and that's where true growth begins. So the next time you find yourself weighed down by someone's negativity, ask yourself, is this helping me become the person I want to be? If not, it might be time to reconsider the space they occupy in your life. In the end, the lesson is simple. Your social circle should reflect the person you aspire to be, not the limitations others place on you. Number 3. Superficial friends. When it comes to superficial friends, one of the most important reasons smart people begin to shrink their social circle over time is the realization that surface-level relationships don't provide the depth or support needed for personal growth. Superficial friends are those who are more concerned with appearances, social status, or maintaining a shallow connection rather than fostering genuine relationships. As we evolve and become more self-aware, we start to see through these relationships, understanding that they do not offer the kind of meaningful interaction that we need in life. You may have noticed that when you go through challenging times, these superficial friends tend to disappear. They're the ones who enjoy being around when things are fun and light, but they often avoid the deeper conversations or emotional support that true friendships require. Over time, this leads to a lack of trust and connection, and it becomes clear that keeping such people in your life is more of a drain than a benefit. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." The same principle can be applied to friendships. It's not about having a large group of people around you, but about having a few trusted individuals who truly understand and support you. Superficial friends often bring unnecessary drama or competition into your life. They may feel like they need to keep up appearances or constantly prove something, and this can create a toxic environment. If you're constantly surrounded by people who are focused on external validation, it's easy to lose sight of your own values and goals. You might start to question your own worth or measure your success based on how others see you, which can be incredibly draining. Have you ever found yourself in a group of people feeling like you're not truly connected to any of them? It's likely because the relationships are based on convenience or circumstance, rather than genuine mutual respect or shared values. Over time, these superficial connections fade, and what remains is a sense of emptiness. Smart people realize that in order to grow and maintain their inner peace, they need to surround themselves with people who are authentic, supportive, and aligned with their values. Superficial friendships, on the other hand, often lack depth and sincerity, and this becomes more evident as you become more in tune with your own needs and priorities. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once remarked, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This is a reminder that the people we surround ourselves with have a direct impact on our mindset and well-being. If your social circle is full of people who only care about the surface, who are more interested in being seen than in seeing you, it's hard to find the space to reflect, grow, and focus on what truly matters. These types of friendships can distract you from your purpose and pull you away from the things that genuinely bring you happiness and fulfillment. Think about your own experiences. How many times have you maintained a friendship out of obligation, even though you knew it wasn't adding any real value to your life? How often have you felt drained after spending time with people who are more interested in gossiping or showing off than in having meaningful conversations? The reality is, the older and wiser we get, the less tolerance we have for these types of relationships. As your priorities shift towards personal growth, emotional stability, and genuine connection, it becomes easier to recognize who truly belongs in your life and who doesn't. It's not about cutting people off for the sake of it, but rather about being intentional with your time and energy. In modern life, it can be easy to fall into the trap of superficial friendships, especially with the rise of social media. People often confuse likes and followers with meaningful connection, but these digital interactions rarely provide the depth or support of a true friendship. Stoicism teaches us the importance of cultivating deep, meaningful relationships rather than chasing after the approval of the masses. The philosopher Seneca wrote, "One of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood." This is a powerful reminder that real friendships are built on mutual understanding, not on superficial interests or status. So, how do you know if a friendship is superficial? Ask yourself, does this person truly know me, or do they only see the version of me that's convenient for them? Do they support my growth, or do they bring unnecessary drama into my life? Are our interactions meaningful, or do they feel more like obligations? These are important questions because the answers will help you determine which relationships are worth nurturing and which ones are better left behind. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control, and one of the things we can control is who we choose to spend our time with. By reducing the number of superficial friends in your life, you make room for deeper, more fulfilling connections that align with your values and contribute to your overall well-being. The lesson here is simple. Choose quality over quantity when it comes to friendships. Life is too short to waste on relationships that don't enrich your life. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and support your journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. When you focus on building strong, authentic relationships, you not only improve your social circle, but also create a support system that will stand by you through the ups and downs of life. So the next time you find yourself questioning a friendship, ask yourself, is this person contributing to my growth, or are they holding me back? The answer will guide you toward a more intentional and fulfilling social life, grounded in the principles of Stoicism and the pursuit of true, lasting connection. Thank you for joining us in today's video. Before we dive into the next segment, I'd like to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for your presence here. Whether you're a new member or have been part of our community for a while, your engagement means the world to us. If you feel like sharing your thoughts or impressions, please do so. Or if you're unsure what to say, simply comment, "I am a newbie," if you've just joined us. Or, "I am Stoic," if you've been on this journey with us for a while. Every interaction, no matter how small, motivates us to keep creating and growing together. Now let's continue this journey together, shall we? Number 4. Energy drainers. When it comes to protecting your mental space and emotional well-being, one of the most crucial decisions smart people make over time is reducing interactions with energy drainers. These are the people in your life who seem to sap your energy and enthusiasm whenever you're around them. They may not be malicious or overtly negative, but their constant need for attention, validation, or help leaves you feeling exhausted and depleted. In essence, energy drainers are those who take more from the relationship than they give, and over time, this imbalance can have a serious impact on your mental and emotional health. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We are disturbed not by things, but by the view we take of them." This means that while we may not be able to control the presence of energy drainers in our lives, we can certainly control how we react to them and how much space we allow them to occupy. Smart people understand that their energy is one of their most valuable resources. When you're constantly giving your time and attention to those who don't reciprocate or who drain your enthusiasm, you're left with less energy to focus on your own goals, passions, and personal growth. Energy drainers can come in many forms. The friend who constantly complains but never takes action to improve their situation, the colleague who demands your time but offers no value in return, or the family member who only reaches out when they need something from you. Over time, these relationships can weigh you down, making it harder to maintain your own momentum and progress. Have you ever left a conversation or meeting with someone feeling completely drained, like your energy was sucked right out of you? That's the hallmark of an energy drainer. And smart people recognize that in order to maintain their own peace of mind and productivity, they must limit these interactions. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic thinkers, once wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and the people you surround yourself with have a direct influence on the quality of your thoughts. If you're spending your time with people who drain your energy, it becomes harder to focus on the positive, the productive, and the meaningful aspects of life." Energy drainers tend to bring with them an air of negativity, even if it's unintentional. They're often caught in cycles of complaining, self-doubt, or emotional neediness, and while they may not be doing it on purpose, the result is the same. They deplete your mental and emotional reserves. In modern life, where we're constantly juggling responsibilities, from work to personal relationships, our energy is more precious than ever. Smart individuals realize that if they want to achieve their goals and maintain their mental clarity, they need to be intentional about who they spend their time with. Think about your own life. Are there people who leave you feeling drained after every interaction? Do you find yourself dreading conversations or meetups because you know you'll leave feeling worse than before? These are signs that someone in your circle might be draining your energy, and it's important to address this before it affects your overall well-being. Cutting ties or reducing time spent with energy drainers doesn't mean you have to be harsh or unkind. In fact, the Stoic approach teaches us to be compassionate and understanding, while also maintaining firm boundaries. As Seneca once said, "He who is everywhere is nowhere." In other words, spreading yourself too thin by trying to accommodate everyone, especially those who drain your energy, will ultimately leave you feeling disconnected from yourself and your purpose. Smart people know that their time and energy must be protected if they are to live fulfilling, purpose-driven lives. This often means learning to say no, setting boundaries, and prioritizing relationships that bring value, support, and mutual growth. So, how do you deal with energy drainers in your life? The first step is awareness, recognizing who these people are and how they make you feel. Once you've identified them, it's important to evaluate the relationship. Is there a way to improve the dynamic? Can you communicate your need for more balance in the relationship? If not, it may be time to reduce your interaction with them or set clearer boundaries. It's not about cutting people off coldly. It's about protecting your own well-being so that you can show up as your best self for the people who truly matter in your life. Have you ever considered how much of your energy is being spent on people who don't reciprocate that same level of care and attention? What could you accomplish if you redirected that energy toward your own goals and passions? These are important questions to ask as you evaluate your social circle. By reducing the influence of energy drainers, you'll find that you have more time, mental clarity, and emotional strength to invest in the people and activities that truly bring you joy and fulfillment. The lesson here is simple. Be mindful of the energy you allow into your life. Your time and energy are finite resources, and just as you wouldn't waste your money on things that don't bring you value, you shouldn't waste your energy on relationships that leave you feeling drained. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and support your growth, and you'll find that your own energy begins to flourish. As the Stoics teach us, control what you can, your reactions, your environment, and the people you allow into your inner circle. By doing so, You'll not only protect your energy, but also create a more fulfilling, balanced, and meaningful life. Number 5. Toxic relationships. Toxic relationships are another most significant reasons why smart people tend to shrink their social circle as they grow wiser. These are the relationships that drain your energy, bring unnecessary drama, and often leave you feeling worse than before. The thing about toxic relationships is that they don't always start out toxic. They can develop over time as people change, grow apart, or reveal behaviors and patterns that weren't obvious in the beginning. Toxic people can be manipulative, emotionally draining, or consistently critical, making you feel like you're walking on eggshells around them. Over time, intelligent individuals recognize the toll these relationships take on their mental and emotional well-being, and they make the difficult decision to let go. It's not an easy choice, but it's a necessary one for their growth and peace of mind. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In this context, it's not about having more friends, but about having the right kind of relationships that support and nurture your well-being. Have you ever been in a relationship where no matter what you did, it never seemed to be enough? Or perhaps you found yourself constantly giving more than you received, yet feeling guilty or anxious when you considered stepping away? That's the hallmark of a toxic relationship, a dynamic where the balance is skewed and one person takes advantage of the other's kindness or loyalty. Smart people, especially those who follow Stoic principles, understand that their time, energy, and peace of mind are precious. They know that keeping toxic people in their lives not only distracts them from their goals, but also clouds their judgment and diminishes their inner peace. It takes courage to step away from toxic relationships, especially when those relationships involve longtime friends or even family members. But wise individuals know that their mental health and happiness are worth the tough decisions. In modern life, toxic relationships can manifest in various forms, whether it's a friend who constantly undermines your success, a colleague who thrives on negativity, or even a partner who manipulates your emotions to control you. We often hesitate to label these relationships as toxic because we're afraid of being judged or seen as disloyal. But the truth is, staying in these relationships does more harm than good. I once had a friend who was always critical of every decision I made. At first, I thought she was just being brutally honest. But over time, I realized that her constant criticism was wearing down my confidence. It wasn't until I started distancing myself from her that I felt a sense of relief and regained my self-assurance. It wasn't easy, but looking back, I realize how much that relationship was holding me back. How many of us are still holding on to people who undermine our happiness just because we feel obligated to keep them in our lives? Toxic relationships have a way of creeping into our lives and staying there longer than they should, because we often convince ourselves that we can fix the situation or that things will get better. But in reality, most toxic relationships don't improve without a significant shift in behavior from both parties. And that rarely happens. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If the people around you are constantly filling your mind with negativity, self-doubt, or stress, it becomes incredibly difficult to focus on your goals, stay grounded, and maintain a positive mindset. And here's the hard truth. Sometimes, the best way to improve the quality of your thoughts is to improve the quality of your relationships. What makes toxic relationships even more insidious is that they can become so familiar that we stop recognizing them for what they are. We adapt to the dysfunction, thinking it's normal, and we lower our standards for what a healthy relationship should be. But the moment you start raising your standards and recognizing that you deserve to be in relationships that encourage your growth and well-being, you'll start to see the toxic ones for what they are. It's about setting boundaries, knowing your worth, and being unafraid to walk away from relationships that do more harm than good. Epictetus, another great Stoic thinker, reminds us, "Keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." This is not just a philosophy to follow. It's a life-changing principle. As you think about your own relationships, Ask yourself, are there people in your life who drain your energy, cause you stress, or make you feel less than you are? Are there relationships that bring more negativity than positivity? If the answer is yes, then it may be time to reevaluate those connections. Remember, letting go of toxic relationships isn't about abandoning people or being selfish. It's about protecting your mental health, your goals, and your peace of mind. You deserve to be surrounded by people who support you, who celebrate your successes, and who lift you up when you're down. Not those who add to your burdens or bring unnecessary drama into your life. Smart people shrink their social circles because they understand that the quality of their relationships directly impacts the quality of their lives. They're not afraid to make tough choices when it comes to who they allow into their inner circle, and they value their peace of mind more than maintaining toxic connections. In the end, it's about creating an environment where you can thrive, mentally, emotionally, and even spiritually. And sometimes that means stepping away from relationships that no longer serve you. Ask yourself, how much more energy and happiness could you have if you let go of the toxic relationships in your life? The answer might surprise you and set you free. Number 6. Untrustworthy friends. The sixth crucial reasons why smart people gradually reduce their social circle is the realization that not everyone they call a friend can be trusted. Untrustworthy friends can cause more harm than good, and over time, these individuals reveal themselves through their actions, inconsistencies, and failure to be reliable when it matters most. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, and without it, the relationship becomes a source of stress and uncertainty. How often have you confided in someone, only to find out they've shared your private thoughts with others? Or perhaps you've relied on a friend in a moment of need, only to be disappointed when they don't show up for you. These moments of betrayal or neglect accumulate, and wise individuals quickly recognize that keeping untrustworthy people around will only lead to more pain and disappointment. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, one of the most beautiful qualities of true friendship is to understand and to be understood. A friendship without trust lacks this deep understanding, making it superficial at best and harmful at worst. When we keep untrustworthy people in our lives, we are constantly second-guessing their intentions, questioning their loyalty, and wondering if they have our best interests at heart. This mental and emotional strain can be exhausting, leaving us feeling anxious and distracted from our own personal growth. Smart people realize that their energy is better spent on relationships where trust is mutual, where they can share openly without fear of being judged or betrayed. In modern life, where everything moves fast and people are more connected than ever, it's easy to fall into relationships based on convenience rather than genuine connection. But over time, it becomes clear that trust is non-negotiable, and without it, even the most fun or exciting friendships eventually crumble under the weight of dishonesty or inconsistency. Let me share a modern-day example that highlights the importance of trust in friendships. I once knew a man who had a close friend he'd known for years. They shared good times and laughs, but whenever there was an important issue, whether it was financial help, career advice, or emotional support, this friend would always fall short. At first, the man made excuses, thinking his friend was just busy or going through something personal. But as time went on, it became obvious that this friend only cared about the friendship when it benefited him. Whenever things got tough, he disappeared. The man soon realized that he was giving much more than he was receiving, and the trust he had in that friendship was misplaced. It wasn't until he decided to distance himself from this untrustworthy friend that he found relief and made space for people who truly valued him. How many of us have experienced this same dynamic, relying on someone we thought was a true friend, only to be let down time and time again? It makes you question who in your life really deserves your trust. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." This quote speaks to the core of what makes a person trustworthy. In a true friendship, both parties must act with integrity, say what they mean, and follow through on their promises. When this standard isn't met, the relationship becomes shaky, and mistrust begins to grow. Untrustworthy friends may lie, exaggerate, or deceive in small ways that eventually erode the bond of friendship. It's not always easy to spot untrustworthy people right away because they often present themselves as loyal and caring at first. But over time, their true nature reveals itself in how they handle conflict, whether they keep their word, and how they treat you when you're not around. As your circle of trust tightens, you start to see that some people are not worth the emotional investment. The Stoics remind us to focus on what we can control, and this includes the people we allow into our lives. We can't control whether someone is trustworthy, but we can control how we respond once we realize they are not. As painful as it might be to cut ties with someone you once considered a friend, it's far better to surround yourself with a few loyal, trustworthy people than to maintain a larger group filled with unreliable individuals. Epictetus taught, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." Trustworthy friends do exactly this. They challenge you to grow, they stand by you in difficult times, and they respect the boundaries and values that are important to you. When your social circle consists of people like this, you can thrive emotionally and mentally because you know that the people around you genuinely care for you. Ask yourself, do you have friends in your life who consistently break promises or fail to support you when you need them? Do you find yourself constantly questioning whether you can trust certain individuals? If the answer is yes, it might be time to reassess those relationships. There's no need to hold on to friendships out of habit or obligation, especially if they bring more stress than joy. Smart people recognize that their social circle should be a place of safety, trust, and mutual respect. When that's not the case, they aren't afraid to walk away. The lesson here is simple. Trust is the cornerstone of any true friendship, and without it, the relationship will inevitably fail. It's better to have a small, trustworthy circle than to surround yourself with people who can't be relied on. Be mindful of who you trust. Untrustworthy friends will only bring unnecessary stress and disappointment into your life. Instead, seek out relationships where trust is reciprocated, where you don't have to constantly second-guess someone's intentions. As you refine your social circle, you'll find that true, trustworthy friendships are rare but invaluable, offering a source of support, understanding, and companionship that enriches your life in countless ways. If you've made it this far, you're truly embracing the wisdom of Stoicism. Drop a comment saying, "I value growth," to show you're committed to refining your circle for personal growth. Stick around, there's even more insight ahead. Number 7. Casual companions. When it comes to understanding why smart people shrink their social circle over time, one key reason is the realization that casual companions don't contribute much to their personal growth or well-being. Casual companions are the people you might hang out with for a drink after work, chat with at social gatherings, or even spend time with on weekends, but these relationships rarely go beyond the surface. While these connections can be fun and lighthearted, they often lack the depth and meaning that more significant friendships provide. As time passes, those who value personal development, like followers of Stoicism, begin to see that casual companions are not necessarily adding value to their lives. Instead, they may even be a distraction from more important pursuits. Seneca once said, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." The message here is clear. The quality of the people you surround yourself with directly affects your growth, mindset, and success. When you constantly spend time with casual companions, you risk missing out on the deeper, more meaningful relationships that truly enrich your life. Think about the time and energy spent on maintaining casual relationships, chats that revolve around trivial topics, hangouts that don't leave you feeling fulfilled, or even social obligations that seem more like chores than opportunities for connection. Over time, smart individuals start to question whether these interactions are worth it. They begin to realize that time is a precious resource, one that is better spent with people who genuinely understand, support, and challenge them. This doesn't mean there's anything wrong with casual companionship in itself. However, as life becomes more focused and priorities shift, Those who are serious about their goals and inner peace seek relationships that align with their values. Smart people know that it's not about the quantity of friends, but the quality. How many times have you walked away from a social gathering with casual companions feeling as though nothing meaningful was exchanged? It's a common experience, one that becomes more frustrating as you seek deeper fulfillment in your life. In modern life, where social media and networking apps encourage us to build vast networks of acquaintances, it's easy to fall into the trap of maintaining shallow relationships. But as you grow older and wiser, it becomes clear that these casual connections often don't withstand the test of time, especially when life throws challenges your way. A friend who is only around when things are easy and fun won't be there when you're going through difficult times, and wise people understand this. They choose to invest their time in relationships that offer mutual support, encouragement, and shared growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that the people you interact with influence your thoughts, actions, and ultimately, your character. By surrounding yourself with casual companions who lack depth, you may inadvertently adopt their shallow or uninspiring attitudes toward life. But when you focus on meaningful relationships, you are more likely to elevate your thoughts and actions, aligning them with your true values and goals. Here's a modern story that illustrates the point. A successful entrepreneur once told me that in his early 30s he spent a lot of time with a large group of casual companions, people he met through work, social events, and mutual friends. They'd spend weekends partying, watching sports, and talking about surface-level things like the latest gadgets or celebrity gossip. But when he hit a rough patch in his business, he noticed something. Not one of those casual companions offered real support, or even asked how he was doing. Instead, they carried on with their usual lighthearted banter. It was in that moment he realized that while he had many people around him, he was actually alone in his struggles. This revelation prompted him to narrow down his social circle, focusing on a handful of people who truly cared about him and his well-being. Have you ever had a similar realization, where the people you thought you were close to didn't show up for you when it mattered most? It's a tough pill to swallow, but one that leads to greater wisdom. The decision to reduce interactions with casual companions isn't about becoming antisocial or cutting people off without reason. It's about recognizing where your energy and time are best spent. Smart individuals know that building strong, meaningful relationships takes effort, and they're willing to invest in the people who bring value to their lives, emotionally, intellectually, and even spiritually. And in contrast, casual companions often bring nothing more than temporary entertainment, and over time this becomes less appealing. Epictetus reminds us, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If the people you're spending time with aren't doing that, then it may be time to reevaluate those relationships. Ask yourself, are the casual companions in your life contributing to your growth, or are they simply filling space in your schedule? Do they challenge you to be better, or are they content with keeping things superficial? These are important questions because they help clarify which relationships are worth maintaining. The lesson here is simple. As you grow and your priorities evolve, so should your social circle. It's not about having as many friends as possible. It's about fostering meaningful connections with people who understand and support you. By shrinking your circle, you're not losing friends, you're making room for the kind of relationships that truly matter. The choice to distance yourself from casual companions comes down to one thing: valuing quality over quantity. Life is too short to spend on relationships that don't enrich your soul, stimulate your mind, or contribute to your overall happiness. The Stoics understood this well, and their teachings encourage us to focus on what truly matters: personal growth, meaningful connections, and inner peace. So, the next time you find yourself surrounded by casual companions, ask yourself, are these the people who will stand by me when life gets tough? Or are they just here for the fun times? The answer to that question will guide you toward a more intentional, fulfilling social life. Number 8. Conflict-creating individuals. Why smart people tend to shrink their social circles over time. It is the realization that conflict-creating individuals are more of a liability than an asset. These are the people who seem to thrive on drama, consistently stirring up tension or creating issues where there shouldn't be any. They may be confrontational, constantly criticizing others, or finding reasons to argue over trivial matters. Over time, dealing with these types of individuals becomes exhausting, and their presence can disrupt your peace of mind. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." Wise people understand that constant conflict distracts from their goals, weakens their mental resolve, and draws them into unnecessary battles that only drain their energy. They realize that by removing these individuals from their social circles, they can regain focus and protect their inner peace. Conflict-creating individuals can come in many forms. Sometimes, they are the ones who subtly manipulate situations to create friction between people, making you second-guess your actions or words. Other times, they may outright seek confrontation, pushing your buttons just to get a reaction. You may have experienced this firsthand: an acquaintance who always finds a way to bring negativity to the conversation, or someone who seems to thrive on debating every small detail. These individuals often bring unnecessary stress and can create a toxic environment where calm and reason are replaced with constant tension. As you reflect on your own relationships, do you notice anyone who always seems to be at the center of conflict? Someone whose presence brings unease instead of peace? It's easy to see how these types of relationships can weigh heavily on your mental well-being. Over time, smart individuals start distancing themselves from such people, realizing that life is too short to be embroiled in constant drama. The Stoic mindset emphasizes controlling what we can and accepting what we cannot. You can't always prevent someone from creating conflict, but you can choose whether or not you participate in it. In modern life, where the fast pace of work, social media, and relationships can already be overwhelming, the last thing you need is someone consistently bringing turmoil into your world. Smart individuals recognize this and make the conscious choice to walk away from conflict-driven people, focusing instead on relationships that foster peace and understanding. When I think about a modern example, a colleague once shared a story about a business partner who constantly stirred up issues, questioning every decision and creating an atmosphere of distrust among the team. At first, the colleague tried to manage the situation, believing that more communication and compromise would resolve the conflicts. But after months of constant friction, it became clear that the partner was more interested in power struggles than in collaboration. The decision to part ways wasn't easy, but it was necessary for the team to move forward and work in harmony. How many of us have found ourselves in similar situations, holding on to relationships that only create stress, thinking we can somehow fix the problem? The reality is, some people are naturally conflict-oriented, and trying to change their behavior is a fruitless endeavor. As Epictetus wisely advised, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In the context of social circles, this means that instead of arguing or trying to fix others, we should lead by example, choosing peace, rationality, and calm in our own lives. By doing so, we attract those who share these values and repel those who thrive on conflict. The more you embody these qualities, the clearer it becomes which relationships are worth keeping and which are only creating unnecessary tension. Conflict-driven individuals can also derail your focus on personal growth, constantly pulling you into arguments or situations that don't contribute to your well-being. In Stoic philosophy, personal development and peace of mind are paramount, and allowing someone to disrupt that journey is something a wise person simply won't tolerate. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever spent time with someone who seems to make every situation more stressful than it needs to be? Maybe they constantly provoke you or others, creating division in the group. Or perhaps they enjoy gossiping, knowing full well that it will lead to conflict later. The point is, these people are not interested in resolution. They are interested in the conflict itself. Smart people understand that staying involved in these dynamics only wastes valuable time and energy that could be better spent on relationships that offer support, growth, and mutual respect. As you reflect on your social circle, ask yourself, is there someone who brings more conflict than value to your life? If so, what would your life look like if you minimize your interactions with them? The lesson here is simple but profound. Conflict-driven individuals do not deserve space in your life if your goal is to live a peaceful, fulfilling existence. It's not about avoiding conflict at all costs, but about recognizing when conflict is being created unnecessarily and refusing to engage in it. Conflict has a place when it's productive and leads to growth, but those who create conflict for the sake of drama or attention are not helping you. They are holding you back. As Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." True bravery in this case comes from the courage to walk away from people who consistently bring conflict into your life, freeing yourself from the burden of their negativity. Ultimately, by removing conflict-driven individuals from your social circle, you create space for relationships that bring peace, clarity, and joy. It's about protecting your mental and emotional energy so that you can focus on what truly matters: your personal growth, your goals, and your inner peace. Life is challenging enough without the added stress of unnecessary conflict. So, ask yourself, who in your life is creating conflict? And how much more peaceful would your world be without them? The answers to these questions will guide you toward a more intentional, serene, and fulfilling social life. As we wrap up today's video on 8 reasons why smart people shrink their social circle over time, Stoicism, it's clear that the quality of your relationships directly impacts your personal growth and inner peace. By understanding the impact of envious people, negative individuals, superficial friends, energy drainers, toxic relationships, untrustworthy friends, casual companions, and conflict creators, we can make conscious choices to cultivate meaningful connections that truly enrich our lives. Remember, it's not about how many people are in your life, but who they are and how they contribute to your well-being. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts, and those thoughts are greatly influenced by the people you surround yourself with. So, take a moment to reflect. Who in your life is helping you grow, and who is holding you back? Share your thoughts in the comments below. What changes have you made to protect your peace and prioritize your personal growth? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and continue the journey of wisdom with us here at Stoic in Your Life. Let's keep learning, growing, and fostering relationships that inspire us to become the best versions of ourselves.